Great.
Now once you have the part loaded in here, the first step you'd want to do is take a look at the part, and you want to make sure that the z-axis is normal to the face of the direction you want to machine it from.
Okay, got it.
So in this particular case, if you notice, the z-axis is pointing down towards the bottom, which means the z-axis is normal to this particular face.
Right.
You see the red arrow represents a Z, so we also use the same representation in here.
Okay.
And automatically AlibreCAM inherits the same orientation that you have in Alibre for the initial orientation. But if you need to machine this part from a different orientation, so it looks like to me, it would probably make more sense to machine it from this side, because you have this kind of a recessed step like a pocket in here. So rather than having to go back and redefine the part or redesign or do some operations to rotate the part, we have a very easy way to orient the coordinate system by going down to the Program tab, and then you can click on Machine, and this allows you to orient the coordinate system for machining.
Okay.
So you can establish your X, Y, Z axis orientation. In this particular case, it's just a rotation of 180 degrees on the X-axis. So I can type in 180 and then rotate about the X. You will now notice that the Z-axis is pointing normal to this face. Now I could have also used to select a surface and pick the face. It'll use the normal orientations for the surface to orient it. Or you can use these spin controls in here to establish that.
Okay. Now the XYZ at the moment, is that right at the top face? I couldn't quite tell where its default is.
Yeah, it is currently where the origin was in Alibre. So we can go ahead and pick a location of where we want to put the origin. So the machine tool setup dialog allows you to establish the XYZ orientation. Once you establish the orientation, we can then go ahead and pick the origin for it.
Okay, that'd be great if we could move that down to the bottom of the part.
Sure, we'll do that. Now the next step is you establish the machining process, whether it's going to be 2, 3, 4, or 5 axis. For 2 and 3 axis, you just leave it as 3 axis. You pick OK. So you now notice that the machine tool coordinate system is oriented. The next step we want to do is select the post processor. Now this could be done at the very end before outputting the code as well, and we have post processors for a wide range of machine tools in here. So we can select the post, either they're listed by the name of the machine tool or by the controller, and you said you have a max NC. So we have a max NC post right in here. You could use NC file extension, tab, .text, whatever is the preferred extension, you can choose that, and then pick OK to accept it.
Nice. Okay.
So I guess you can notice here I'm working my way from left to right into these steps in here. We will now define the workpiece, the stock material. With the standard configuration, you could define stock as box and cylinder stock. So box could be rectangular, or it could be defining a round stock. And this automatically establishes the minimum extent. So it looks like the part that you have is in millimeter units. It says 68 by 44 by 5 millimeter. That's the overall extents. So you define the stock. If you want to make the stock to be slightly larger, you could define it as a box, or you could even do a part box stock where you can specify an offset in X, Y, and Z to make the stock larger on each direction of the side.
Yeah, like in this part, for instance, I think we machine this out of 3/8 inch stock, or whatever the equivalent metric is to that.
So we could put in 3/8 would be, we could do we could do some math in here.
Oh, okay, that's great.
So if you notice here, it tells me that it's 3/8 inch times 25.4 is 9.525, right?
Sounds right.
That's basically the stock, and you can see that the stock is being added to the part.
Okay.
So
how did it know did it place that at the origin, or did it envelope the entire part in the initial setting?
In the initial setting, it flushes the stock to the bottom. Since the user interface shows here the bottom left corner is where it's referencing everything based on the bottom left corner of the workpiece. Of the part, and then it's basically adding that additional thickness above it. Now if you wanted to go back and align it, we have the ability to align the stock. We can have it top, center, or bottom. We can choose where we want to align it. So I can say I want to have it flush to the top, and then you can notice that there's extra material being left as it extrudes down.
Excellent. Okay.
So would you like to leave material on the bottom or on the top above the?
Might as well go back to the top, because that's how it would be machined. Yeah.
Okay. So you can leave the additional material on the top right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, in the next step, you want to go ahead and select the 0. You could pick work 0, and you can pick where you want to place it. You can say set to stock box. You could do high as Z, mid Z, or you could do low as Z, which is the bottom.
Interesting.
And then you can
Okay.
pick the origin location, the southwest, what's commonly done, or you can put it in the center. So it basically puts it to the bottom center.
Okay, we typically go with center, so if we could do that, that would be great.
Yep, and then if you want to output this as your work offset number 54, G54 or 55, you can select this and then pick generate. So now you'll notice that the 000 is set to the bottom of your stock.
Great.